What,
I
Mason?
got thrown a caution because I could have planned out my Friday at East Bay. Since the race was delayed on Saturday and Sunday, why didn't you do all your errands on Saturday, Sunday, especially Walmart? Because Walmart was definitely open on Sunday.
I'm typing my answer and I can't tell.
I would 100% agree.
I had a doctor's appointment that I scheduled a month and a half ago, and it went 2 hours long. And I had to go pick up some things.
But wait a second here.
But there's more. Why is this my fault?
This is not my fault.
But you still could have planned better.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Track Packer podcast. I am your not new host, Jessup Pelkey. I'm with John Breckel, Becca Pelkey, and this week's Collinsworth Mason Eisenzimmer.
Howdy.
Wow, he's really struggling.
He's really Collinsworthing.
He is.
It wasn't very smooth.
Well, when you're trying to keep it away from a cat, the green flag, it's a little bit tricky. How's everyone doing? It's been a while.
We're doing pretty good.
Good
I'm
deal.
having lots of
Becca,
fun waving
how are
my
you
flag.
holding up?
I'm good. Can't complain.
Can't complain. Well, that's good. Mr. Jessup, how are you, sir?
I'm good. This might be a record for us for waving the green flag.
I'll say,
I like
we're
how
waving
Jessup
it
and I
quite
are
a
like
bit. I'll give you guys a break
synchronized.
here.
I think we're like
Episode,
synchronized too.
yeah, very synchronized too. That's hard to do over Zoom. Anyways,
Mason, how are you?
good. Busy. Working on highlight videos. There's still quite a few things I need to do before the racing season actually starts, but things are winding down. It's a little chilly this week, so it's good for working on stuff indoors and not feel like I'm in such a rush to get to the racetrack. So I could use another, like one more cold week like this, and then I'll be like guns a-blazing for racing season.
So Mason, we have to thank our presenting sponsor.
Yes, which is Hitch Harness. Thank you so much to Mr. Tyler Hall out of Fertile, Minnesota. If you haven't checked out Hitch Harness, you want to head over to the website, hitchharness.com, check out all the products they have. It's a very good time of year as the season's changing from winter to spring into summer, all sorts of different products, whether you're a truck owner, racer, just a pit crew guy, all sorts of stuff that you can check out at hitchharness.com as well. Tyler has been very supportive of us. He's also getting geared up for the racing season as well. A very seasoned, I'm saying modified racer, wins a bunch of races throughout the year, multiple track championships as well. And check out hitchharness.com for all the products. And thank you, Tyler, as always, for the support. The lineup, as it stands right now, is basically the same as last week because I was the only one that had an official caution on the last episode. Someone else had a caution, but unfortunately, that part didn't air for some specific reason. But Becca is on the pole, followed by John, Jessup, and myself. So, Miss Becca, on the pole, how are you doing?
I'm good. Can't complain. Am I supposed to expand and elaborate on that or what?
Well,
Yes, Becca, you should expand based on the announcement that you guys made.
Well, technically, she will expand.
This is true. She is already probably expanding.
I'm glad Jessup said that because that thought went through my head. I'm like, I want to say it, but I'm like, that is not for me to say.
Smart.
Yeah, so we are expecting a baby, and we announced it on Facebook about a week or so ago. So this week, when this podcast airs, will be 15 weeks. I am not showing, so not expanding just yet. I more so look like I just have to take a poop, which happens from time to time. but I have not been nauseous or sick at all. Very lucky in that department, but I have been extremely tired like all the time. So
This is
yeah,
true. I
super
hear about it.
excited. Huh?
I said this is true. I
What?
hear about it all the time.
Yes, I'm tired all the time and I hate it because I'm not showing and it doesn't feel real, but I'm just tired for no reason at all. So yeah, we're super excited. It's gonna be an interesting summer. I don't know what the future holds for me in regards to dirt track racing because although we have two very I have a big family. Jessup has a smaller family, but my family's from Napoleon. His is from Minnesota. I do have quite a lot of family here in Bismarck, but I don't know how I feel about asking them just to watch our kid on every Friday night or every Saturday night just so I can run off and go to the racetrack. So don't know what my future holds, but we'll see what happens and take it day by day. But yeah, super excited. We're gonna have a baby due in
Oh.
September. So right during invitational season. So it'll be
Always a
interesting.
crazy time of year.
Well, it is an invitation for the baby to show up, so perfect time. Invitational season.
Very true. Well, congratulations to both of you. That's awesome news to hear that you're growing your family. And I'm sure Gordy and Ole are going to be welcoming as well to add to the family as well.
Well, Mason, I'll tell you what really happened. You know, Becca gets asked to do a lot out at the racetracks, and when she gets asked to help out at a lot of other racetracks. And the truth really is there's only one Becca and only one me, and we can only be in so many places at once. So now we are cloning ourselves and making mini us so we can cover more racing and make sure that the sport of dirt track racing is in good hands.
You know, the racetracks could use more volunteers, and we're just helping
Mhm.
make that happen.
Someone's got to pick rocks.
Very true. Every little job helps, especially at the racetrack. Well, anyways, that's awesome to hear. Congratulations once again. It's gonna be exciting come September. I'm sure I'll probably be helping out in some way, shape, or form, especially for the last couple of races over on the western side of the state. John Breckel, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good, Mason. Extremely busy this time of year because we're ramping up. Bowling tournament season is kind of winding down, but in that wind down that happens here within this time frame, we have three big tournaments that essentially hit right here at the end of March timeframe through the end of April. So it's a lot of prep work going in for bowling ball equipment, as well as making sure that we're ready to go from a form perspective and throwing the ball perspective. So we've been bowling a lot over the last couple of weeks. Work has been hectic because this time of year is always busy as well, with stuff that we're going through. And so yeah, so it's been crazy busy. I am looking forward to seeing some car shows upcoming here, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Car show stuff that's going to be upcoming in April, so that's going to be here before you know it. But yeah, no, I'm actually getting ready here to leave for Vegas in about a week, so I'll be out there for a week for bowling. And then I'll be back in Vegas at the end of April again for bowling. So yeah, so I'm going to be getting a second residency in Vegas, so we'll just put it that way. Probably, going forward from some of that stuff. So yeah, but no, besides that, it's been extremely busy. It's been kind of a fun time of the year to go through and see stuff. And then also it's been kind of an interesting time because we just did a CNC about some stuff from the NASCAR scene. And NASCAR, I think, has been very interesting / intriguing the first, 4 to 5 races so far this year. So we'll see how that season all progresses as we hit the hotness of the summer months.
Yeah, definitely some interesting happenings, especially based off today. We are recording this on St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone.
By the way, so Mason, should we give the people not wearing green a caution?
And who are those people, Jessup?
Well, it's for sure Becca.
It's not me.
This is not airing on St. Patrick's Day.
We could totally air it on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Wow, gee, thanks, Mason.
I mean, I could do my best, but no guarantees. Anyways, Jessup, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm very tired because Becca's tired. And she makes sure that I am tired.
You're
I'm
always tired,
joking.
so that's no difference.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Wow.
I was gonna say, I think the tiredness just transferred from Jessup to Becca, or
Yeah, I
Jessup
think
drove
Becca
him
gave
off on
Bingo.
Beckham board.
Becca
No.
received
Bingo.
Jessup's tiredness. Mm-hmm.
See,
Bingo.
Becca, it's a lot harder than it looks to be me.
I still don't pass out when we have visitors at our house.
This
You
is true.
stay really late.
Shay came over on a Sunday afternoon during the NASCAR race and you damn near passed out on the couch.
Yeah, because it's a Sunday tradition.
Which we should have just allowed you to pass out on the couch because you would have slept through the second stage and forgot to change up your lineup. So
Hey,
that was a
That is
mistake
true.
on I's part.
Why did you not do that?
No kidding. We need
I
some
just
help
thought
here.
it was I just thought it was rude that he was passing out on the couch when we had our friend over.
I was trying to give you guys a handicap advance, but no, you guys wanted me to stay awake. So then I made you. I made sure that I took full advantage of being awake.
You could have just
Well,
told
he
him to go to the
typically
bedroom
passes
and
out
take
on
a nap.
Sundays, so
Well, speaking of fantasy, just for a little moment of entertainment, how did we all end up today?
I
Oh, I haven't even looked
yet. Because
Let
I
To
me
was
be
put
honest,
it
I
this
haven't
way.
looked. Let me look.
Let me put it this way, John. I was near 10th at midway through the second stage. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt pretty confident.
Ugh, yeah, not good for me. Are you
I didn't
serious?
do.
I
I didn't do
was
bad.
5
I
points
think I
away
was,
from the first place person, which was Jessup. So I was only 5 points off from him.
and I was
Okay,
only
but
9
here's
points
the
off.
kicker to all this, Mason. At the beginning of it might have been just before the second stage or after the beginning of the second stage, I only had like 112 points. And as the race kept going, I slowly started moving up the board, and I apparently did all right.
I never check I always check like my personal picks, but I never check like the however many points I am compared to everyone else until the end of the
I don't either.
race. But I just knew I'm like the way the race was going, not going to be a good day for me. But I will take 150. That's like 3 times as what I did at Daytona. So I will take that all day, every single day of the week. I already mentioned how I'm doing. Just grinding away through highlight videos. It's going to take me all the way up until the beginning part of the season. So pretty sure it's probably going to start in April at somewhere. And so can be about a month. We're about a month away. So racing seems is kind of pretty soon. So definitely keeping tabs on the Facebook page here. If you haven't, be sure to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook page. If you are listeners, Spotify, Google, and Apple is where you can find us. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We still have the 1 5-star review that has no name and no dialogue to it. So need to get one of those so Jessica can read it on the show one day.
I should just give myself a 5-star review.
It'd be
Thank God there's
funny.
a character limit, though.
Right. It'd be funny though if you could like rate the actual like participants and hosts on the show.
I already told you how it would be rated. Number 1, Mason's number 2. John's a solid. No, John would be 2. Mason would be 3, and Becca's at the rear of the field. I'm just joking. Becca would be 1, then Mason, then John, then me.
I don't know. Be interesting to see. But anyways, be sure to keep tabs on our Facebook page. We're going to be sharing a lot of stuff. We're going to be sharing some content from our CNCs that we post from here throughout the summer. And so it's going to be a fun time and fun experience for all of us. And of course, we still have swag. Get your beanies. We'll have them at the racetracks to start the year, and get a hold of us if you are interested in one. They are $20 a piece, black, navy blue, and gray for your options. As you can see, Becca is repping one of them right now. Looks good on you, Becca.
And people don't hesitate to get these because they are going pretty quick. So the quicker you get your order in, the better the odds you get the color you want.
Very true. Yeah, very limited supplies as it stands right now. So just message one of us. We'll be sure to get you hooked up, and also let us know, because I'm probably going to put in a sticker order for TPP stickers. So if you want a sticker on your car, hopefully at a little extra speed, we can do that as well. But with that,
And you're coming to Bismarck in April, like the 5th and 6th. So you
Yep,
can
I will be
follow
over there in a
even
couple weeks,
Mhm.
so I can make a delivery. With that, we will officially start episode number 3 of season 3 with the waving and drop of the green flag and get right into who or what are we repping. Miss Becca, since you're on the poll, I'll let you start it off again.
All right, so I've already worn this hoodie, but I didn't feel like putting on a bra because things are changing and it's weird. So I am wearing a Kelly ST hoodie, his 30th anniversary edition hoodie. So yeah, it's nice and warm. And yeah, I'm not showing or anything, but yeah, still looks good.
I like how she had to tell us that she's not wearing a bra.
It was one of those days. I didn't feel like putting on a bra.
I think she's really connecting with our female audience with this. They will totally understand. Becca's
will understand. Things are different, but strangely enough, I'm not gaining weight, but things have changed and things just don't fit the way they used to. And I did my hair for this. That's something.
Very true.
I did mine too.
Mm-hmm.
We could tell that you did your hair. Looks very nice, John Breckle.
Extra shiny.
John used the extra bowling ball polish for his head.
No, I actually just, I kind of, used it right here because I have a little bit of a spot here today.
Yep. No scuffs.
Yep.
Well, awesome. Well, cool shirt to rep. Once again, Miss Becca, we'll go to Mr. John Breckle. Who or what are you repping?
Okay, so staying in the theme of St. Patty's Day, I did not want to wear a shirt that I've already worn before on the podcast. So it is green and also black. So I am wearing a Jeff Provenzino shirt that I picked up plenty of years back. Still like the shirt because it's got his sponsors and everything else in the back of it. But it is of his 28 late model. And that he has multiple wins, obviously, at several big events across the upper Midwest. So, but yes, I am repping Hibbing, Minnesota's Jeff Provenzino.
Very good. Awesome. So, Mr. Jessup Pelkey, that moves on to you. Who or what are you repping?
Well, I am wearing a Joey Thomas hoodie, which I received from Mason because Mason's very nice and generous. And it just happened that this would fit me instead of Mason. And it looks pretty cool. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a really good year. I just finished up a highlight video for him. He put together over 70 races and had like 4 different paint schemes.
That is a nice hoodie. Why didn't you show me that hoodie?
You've already worn it.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have. You wore it literally the second day it got into the house.
No, I didn't. I haven't seen it. This is the first time I'm seeing this.
It's a nice hoodie. It's really warm. You'd like it, Becca.
It's really warm.
Oh.
And, oh gosh, I'm never going to get to wear it again.
Yeah, so you better enjoy while you're wearing it right now.
Yeah, this is what happens. I have to make sure that I wear my clothes before Becca does, because I don't know where they go after that.
They go in your closet.
Which means I don't know where that is.
I do your laundry to put all your clothes away.
This makes so much sense.
Lately?
Hearing from a secondhand perspective, this makes so much sense.
Mason, that's hurtful.
This does make sense, though.
Did Mason hear about the jacket experience of last weekend?
No, we're not going over that again.
All right.
Well,
it was chaos.
Should we go?
Oh, yes, I remember this story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, let's just
Mason,
say Jessup's
what are you
forgetful.
representing today?
Jessup's a little bit forgetful, but I'll finish it off with who or what we're repping. Since it's St. Patty's Day, I pretty much all green. I couldn't find a green koozie that I hadn't repped before that wasn't super sponsored looking, but figure I'd rep Eric Paul for the koozie. Number 27 raced Minnesota Street Stock, IMCA Modified, now his kid races, and IMCA Hobby Stock, and so get to see him around the pits a little bit throughout the summer, or hopefully see him around the summer a little bit, mainly races over in Dickinson. Well, I venture over towards Mandan or other McLean County Speedway probably. And for the hat, Dalton Albrecht, the 2A, raced a Hobby Stock, and then the shirt is a Matt Scow, number 2S with some modified shirt. Ooh, nice olive green, simple looking shirt. And he had a pretty good end of the year, sweeping the John Seitz Memorial, and I believe was runner up at the Wissota 100. So definitely end of the year on a strong note. And so that is who are what we're repping for this episode. And then we also added a new segment this year, thanks to Jessup and Kirk Klein over in the Bismarck area, giving us a whole bunch of racing photos. We have the Hot Sauce Hot Memory Rewind. And so Issac Sondrol is also supporting us on this podcast, and he's a big history buff and loves history. And so I want to thank him for supporting us in this adventure as well. And so we have a bunch of photos to share and to quiz Mr. John Breckville, the Rain Man of dirt track racing. So what do you got for us today?
Well, we got 3 photos for John. I think a couple should be easy, but they could be a little challenging. So remember, folks, John has to try to guess the year and the driver. Okay, we're starting off easy here for you, John. We're going to start with this driver, this photo right here.
That is Derek Vessel.
Okay, that's your driver choice. What year are you going to say?
Oh boy, that is a good question. Because I can see with his paint scheme on that car, that had to be right around, I'm going to say 2001.
All right. So you got the family right. This would be Steve.
Steve Vessel. Yes,
Yes,
Steve, not Derek. Steve.
Steve Vessel from 2004. A very sharp-looking late model, as you can tell. Nice white and blue, very clean. You can't really see unless maybe when Mason posts the overlay photo of this, it's going to be kind of a nice orange, I think, outline to it. So very nice looking car for Steve. Now this one,
Don Eichen's late model is in the background as well on that one.
the number 9, 90.
Yep, the 90 is Don Eichen's.
Oh, very good, John. Very good. All right, John, you ready for the next
I get
one?
bonus points for that.
You do. I will give you credit. Are you ready for the next one, John?
Yes.
All right.
That is Tom Bakken.
Very good.
And that has to be from right around, I'm going to say 2005.
Close. Again, another 2004 for him. Do you know the people in the background?
I can't really tell. I can't really see them.
I can't tell either. So I was going to give you major bonus points. And we're coming up on our last person here.
Okay, so here's my question. Did you guys know these?
I know them.
I kind of knew the Vessel one. I would not have guessed Tom Balkan on the.
That was my tricky one because I didn't think we would have a great knowledge of that. Now, this one might be, it should be easy, but it might be a little challenging at the same time. All right. And I'll just tell you, this is from the same year, John.
So this is from 2004.
Yep.
I'm going to go with, gosh, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Is it Tony S or is it Troy S? It's Spring something.
It's not Troy or Tony Springborn, but you are in the right state.
Is it Ashley Anderson?
That is Ashley Anderson. Very good, John.
Okay, I know their cars looked very similar back in the day between Ashley and Troy, so I was like, I wasn't exactly sure if they were right or wrong.
Which, bringing up Troy Springborn, his name, with all of us being part of the Stampede Shakedown crew, over COVID, when they had the Stampede that year, we were looking for people, and Troy actually reached out, since there wasn't any racing going on over in Wisconsin during that time. He reached out to come participate with us. It just so happened, Beck and I went to Medora with our friend Lane and his wife Sarah, and I got the message when we were driving back. And then the very next morning, I got another message from him driving. I think I got the message as we were driving to Medora. And then as we were driving back, it was like 2 a.m. I get this random email, and it's from Troy saying, "Yeah, we won't be making it. We flipped our car tonight."
It's a
But
good
that,
excuse.
yeah, it is. But that's just kind of a fun little history and Stampede Shakedown tidbit.
Nice.
Yeah, because obviously we're doing the Stampede Shakedown again this year. So if there's
Yep.
late model drivers that are interested, eventually we're going to start posting on that too.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
last year we had a lot of first timers in the late model division that were part of the Stampede Shakedown, and I know there's going to be quite a few new faces in the Wissota late models this year again. So definitely going to be a hot commodity to be a part of the Stampede Shakedown. We have a lot of incentives, and we cover your entry free plus a lot more. And so definitely, once we get that posted, reach out to one of us, and we will definitely get you hooked up.
well, good job, John. You win. I'm gonna give you I'll give you 2 out of 3. Because you got state for Ashley Anderson and you got the family rate for Vessel. I'll combine those to make 1.
Yeah, I completely forgot. I've watched Steve race many, many, many years and completely forgot. Derek just rolled right off my tongue.
Well, we've seen him so much lately that it's just natural to get him confused.
Well, based on that, Vessels have always had some really good looking cars too.
Yeah, they always seem to have a clean ran operation and very upkept very well.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Jessup. Again, that is the Hot Sauce Hot Memory Rewind. Thank you once again, Isaac Sondrol, for supporting us. And looking forward to seeing Isaac on the track this year. Actually, but earlier today, I actually got a fan submitted photo for John to get quizzed on. And so I'll try to insert that in the next time we do the show. So
Well, we're not going to do it today. I'm so disappointed.
I know. I saw it earlier today and I'm like, oh, dang, yeah, we'll have to put that in there. And so I'm sure you'll get it though. We'll see. But yeah, so then kind of just one more thing we wanted to insert in before we get to the rest of our show. Jessup and I got to chat with our good friend Scotty Gartner, and this is something we want to do for a lot of the racers or people in the racing community out there. If you want to get a little interview, kind of talk about your racing season, whether it's before the season, during the season, or after, whenever, it's a good opportunity for us to get to know you a little bit and kind of good opportunity to get your name out there. And so we had a little bit of time to get to know Scotty a little bit and get his view on racing, what his plans are for the 2024 season. And it's pretty hectic on what he's got scheduled up. So be sure to enjoy this little section of the interview we had with Scotty Gartner. So we have a treat for you all, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have our first official guest on the Track Packers podcast, and we got to thank Mr. Scotty Gartner, driver their number 0 IMCA modified and IMCA stock car, for being our, I guess, test subject or guinea pig to kind of test this out, because we want to give a platform for drivers to kind of speak on how the racing program is going. And with the racing season coming up, figured it'd be a good time to check in with you, Scotty. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
The season's coming up really fast, so kind of getting ready for that.
Yeah. Tell me about it. We're less than a month away from the car show, and then it's full swing in Mandan there right away. So
Now, Scotty, this leads me into my first question for you of the night. Being the 4-time back-to-back IMCA modified car show champion, and seeing that there is going to be a new class of cars this year, are you going to enter the modified this year or the stock car? And are you going to try to chase that ever coveted 5-time, back car show championship with a mod? Or do you want that very first and once only stock car championship for the car show?
I love it. Does have a good ring to it, the back, but it doesn't really mean anything when I'm the only modified that enters.
Scotty, that's analytics. We don't care about that. It's like they say on race day, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, as long as you win. If there's 70 cars or 2 cars, as long as you win, that's all we care about.
Yeah, no, I've always liked the car show, and it's fun to see everybody else's projects and stuff throughout the winter and stuff, and who's doing what and changing what and stuff. It's always cool to see that. But to answer your question, this one looks new. This one is in pretty rough shape still. So to answer your question, it'll be the modified again.
Look at that, folks. He's going for the 5-time.
Yeah, 5-time.
5-time.
Well, and honestly, like with the way the winter's gone and the off season's gone, people should be a little further ahead on their cars than they normally would be.
Right? Yeah, it's so. This is the nicest winter that I can remember in a long time, and that's why partially we wanted to go down to Arizona, was just to get away from the cold in the middle of the winter, a little break. But I think it was just as nice up here when we were down there.
Yeah, you didn't really miss out on too much rough stuff up here.
No, I think when we came back, that's the next week when it was like, geez, -20 or something. I don't know. It was cold for like a week there.
Well, Scotty, you bring up racing in Arizona. Tell us about the competition that you saw down there and how your overall experience went.
Competition. I mean, everybody and their brother wants a break, in the winter time, and so everybody was down there. I mean, there's some of the best around the country down there. Kind of similar to what like the Dakota Classic Modified Tour is up here. I mean, a lot of those same guys seem like they're down there. A lot of locals too that don't get to come up in this region in the summer or whatever. But competition was good. Cannot deny that. We started off great in the week. We ended up with a 10th place out of, I think it was just about 70 cars. So I was tickled pink about that. But the kind of fun meter went a little bit downhill the rest of the week, and it was still a good time, and it was fun to meet everybody again and stuff, whatever. But I just didn't do that good, flat out.
Well, to make the field out of 70 cars, that's definitely a feat in itself. And like you were saying, it's like the winter version of the Dakota Classic Mod Tour on skill level that was out there. A lot of big names, a lot of big shooters. I think you had your previous and current national champions for the mods sitting there. So that was really, really impressive to see you run well with those guys.
Yeah, it's always fun. I mean, it was our first time doing it, but every year there's rule changes and stuff, and it's kind of a nice test and tune session to, change a car or whatever happened with the rules this year, you know what I mean? So you kind of get a one leg up on everybody back at home a little bit, and that sometimes can make a difference.
That it can. And speaking of the guys back at home, you just had your IMCA stock car in the background. So we got to poke and pester you a little bit about that. With Dakota Speedway going to IMCA stock car and you having a mod and a stock car, I'm wondering which way are you going to run over at the old Dakota Speedway?
I think the plan is now, a little backstory is, the whole WISSOTA street stock versus stock car debate deal. I moved away to Denver in 2015, and during that off time, I wasn't racing in the summers. My dad and I, and a couple other people that helped out, started converting our street stock over to a stock car. We kind of thought, even at that point, they were going to switch, and then, thankfully the street stock cars went up. Good racing and stuff, but it took almost 8 years for that to happen, for them to finally switch. And since that's the case, we only get to run the stock car, 4 or 5 times a year, and it's during all the big specials and stuff. And this will be we've had this car and we've been slowly getting, trying to be competitive with it for, like I said, 7 or 8 years now. And this will be the first year I'm going to run a full season in the stock car in Mandan.
Well, that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. Like I said, we only got to race it a handful of times throughout the year, and I just think it'll be fun to race a whole season of stock car again.
Absolutely. I think that's a good opportunity for you, especially and so pretty much a brand new group of drivers, people coming in on a weekly basis. So I mean, everyone's kind of coming in at the same level in a sense.
Yeah, there's been, a few IMCA stock car shows in Mandan every year, and I think they put on a really good show. And not that the street stocks didn't either, but the I'm excited, like you said, a new group, and everyone's gonna be kind of learning stuff, and hopefully have the ante up on them for racing a few times before them. But I wish I had a 2-car trailer. I would love to race both cars, but that's just not the case. So I'm gonna race stock cars in Mandan and then race the modified here in Jamestown.
Well, that'll be a good deal, I think. Should be a wild time to see the Gartner brothers out competing with each other. Will there be any I can't say it, brotherly competitions or bets on the night? I mean, does the loser buy the other chicken nuggets from the old golden Hitches?
I mean, obviously there's always the brotherly bragging rights, but he's got one up on me in the stock car class. He's got a win under his belt, and I haven't gotten one yet, so he's got all the bragging rights right now.
Okay, there you go. So now you got to catch up to him. That's the next battle.
And I haven't won in Mandan since 2015, so it's been a long time. I hope to God I can get her done this year, but who knows? It's gonna be tough.
That it will be. So, talking about family a little bit here, kind of switching gears. A lot of the race fans who will watch this know your family's pretty big into racing in our area, and they kind of have pretty deep ties to Dakota Speedway. For those that don't, can you give us a brief history about your family's involvement in racing?
Yeah, so I'm technically a 3rd-generation driver. My nephew races, so he's technically 4th generation. So we got 4 generations involved. They can go back decades. And my dad got heavily involved being in the park board in the 90s and stuff, and him and some other people really pushed and for the Dakota Speedway to get created. And ever since then, and his involvement with the tour and stuff, I mean, he's always trying to help better the sport in Mandan. Let's just say it that way. And that's my dad's side of things. My brother races, I race. My sister used to race. I mean, it's been heavily involved in our family for a long, long time.
Now, this leads to the next generation of little Gartners. Is Blake cranking the gear, getting the gear set yet for you, or is she grinding tires yet?
No. She's only 15 months old, but
you can't start them too early.
We got her, or I guess her grandma got her a ice cream truck, little car, and she's been elbows up in that thing a few times already. So maybe it'll happen. But I think my goal this year is to see if she can get a mud plug off. That'd be fantastic.
Everyone starts somewhere, just as long as she doesn't take my job, because I think I'm still the official brake bleeder of Gartner Racing.
The official what?
Brake bleeder? Because remember, I bled your brakes, or it helped you with that a couple years ago.
Yeah. No, that's a thankless job. I mean, someone's got to do it, right?
Well, I just sat there and just acted like I was a driver.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you've driven a race car.
Yeah, very little experience, but definitely takes some work to get that brake pedal working. I probably use that brake pedal way more than Jessup has ever used it in a video game.
Yeah, right. Yeah, video game, just press reset, right?
If you had a preference, if you could pick any car you wanted to race, and that's all you could race, what would you pick, Scotty?
That's a good question. I love the stock car, street stock class. The fender class has always been fun to me. And, I started in the hobby stock class, so it's kind of all like at heart. I love those kind of classes, but there's just something about like these mods when they're on, but when they're off, they are really, really off. I mean, and when they're on, they are so much fun to drive. And if I won the lottery, I would definitely not get a sprint car. Definitely not get a sprint car. But late mod, I would like to try a late model, but I don't know if I could ever get into it. I don't know. But if I could just race mods all the time, that'd be it.
They
There
do
you
get
go.
hooked up.
That's your answer.
Yeah.
I would love to do like what do you call those? Like where you pay whatever to drive a NASCAR car. I think that would be a cool bucket list item to do.
Oh, the driver experience.
Yeah, I think that would be cool to do someday. I mean, I wouldn't want to race it full time, but maybe try it.
It is neat going that fast. I will say that.
Right? Yeah.
But I still think I'd probably run it into the wall. Me and walls aren't good friends.
It's probably a good thing most of the tracks around this area don't have walls,
Right.
at least all the way around the track.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's quite a few walls on the track you gotta avoid, but
As well as
not
that was
all the way around.
that was probably a little bit weird to get used to down in Arizona for that week, I'm sure.
The groove really didn't go that high, so it wasn't really a factor. I think the first time I ever got intimidated by a wall all the way around the track was actually when I went to the Harris Clash.
Oh, Deer Creek. Yep.
Deer Creek. I mean, that track was beautiful top to bottom, and I mean, you could just ride the ring all the way around, scraping the quarter panel if you wanted to. And it got to me. I'm not gonna lie, I probably was a little hesitant up there, but I got a little bit more comfortable as the night went on. But
Yeah, that place is one of those that just gets so wide that you'll see people like sparking every single
yeah,
night.
yeah, I think I scraped off a few inches of my rear sail panel and spoiler on that track, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but that was, I think, the first time I ever got intimidated by the wall.
So you've done some traveling the last handful of years to some very unique tracks, and some of them have walls, some of them don't have walls. From Bristol to Boone to Arizona to Deer Creek, what's been a highlight race, and what's been your more let's say most memorable race?
Personally,
Yeah.
We've been, ever since we moved back, we've been trying to have like a little racecation, almost, you could call it. I don't know if you call it that, but just try somewhere new, like a new adventure or whatever, every year. And it kind of started with that Bristol adventure. My brother wanted to go really bad, and it was kind of one of those, if you're going, I'm going type deals. And man, that was an experience. I mean, that was just the stage racing under that super good lighting that the NASCAR races under and stuff like that, and the Megatron above you and 1,000 cars in the pits. I mean, it was just wild, and there's from people all over the country. You know what I mean? So, and just to get there, I mean, it was like 25 hours or something. I don't know. It was a long ways. And but no, we had great memories there. I missed the show by like 5 feet, so that was super depressing on that. But Boone was another fun one. I've always wanted to go to that. Just the scale of racing a whole week straight like that. I mean, it's a grind, but it's like the hurry up and wait game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's you wait, hurry up, and you wait some more, and then it's just crazy. But man, if you're a racing fan, I mean, you're watching races all day long, and it's just cool. They got it down on the system with track prep and stuff, and that was a fun deal. That was another super good memorable moment. I won my heat race down there in a qualifying deal. Never thought in a million years I would ever get to be on the victory lane stage there. Even if it was just a heat race, I mean, that was up there on, a pretty cool scale. So, and then the Harris Clash deal was kind of out on a whim deal. I mean, we just kind of had a weird off week here in the season, our regular season here. And, my dad and I were talking about going to watch, and I'm like, I'm not going to drive all the way down there and watch. I mean, I'll go down there with the car, and we did, and we made it in the show on that one. So that was pretty cool. And then, the Arizona deal was, like I said, we've been talking about it for a while, and my dad retired this year. So I wasn't able to drive the rig down with the car and truck and stuff. So he was retired, and it was just a good adventure for him, I guess. So he drove it down there, and my wife and daughter and I got to just fly down there and enjoy the Arizona winter down there for a week. And yeah, that was it. That was nice too.
So with the 2024 season coming up, obviously you have both your stock car and modified that you're both working on. How close are you to being race ready?
If I spend probably an hour or two on just getting the car back on the ground for the mod and stickering it, I could race tomorrow, you know what I mean? So that's pretty close. I just got to basically sticker it. The stock car, they changed the rules this year with some ride height stuff, and I think everyone's starting to rethink about how their car's set up and stuff. So we're kind of tinkering with that a little bit, and then I still got to do some general maintenance on it. But I'm not gonna rebody it or anything this year. Maybe next year, but so yeah, we're getting pretty close. It's within a month, and I just hope for nice weather to keep working on stuff like this.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully everything starts on time, because I know we could get some good test and tune sessions early enough, and the people get going right away at middle of April or beginning of May, whatever it may be.
Yeah, Mandan's, starting early, and I like that because everyone gets the racing itch, and to me, there's just nothing worse than it's 60, 70, 80 degrees out, and it's nice, and we're not racing. You know what I mean? That, and it's Friday night and it's that nice. It's like, why aren't we racing? And I'm glad they schedule it. I feel like you can always just cancel it if something gets bad, but I'm sure there's some money behind the scenes that might get thrown away out of that deal. But I don't know. I just like the proactive approach of it. And hopefully with all that fog we had not too long ago, the old Wisetail doesn't forecast rain or snow, in April. That would suck, but what do you expect to?
There's not a whole lot you can do about it either. So
No.
I look at it as basically a good opportunity. If the weather's good and you got those already scheduled, you get to race.
Yeah.
If you don't have it scheduled until let's say beginning of May, and all of April is really nice, and then it rains all through May, then you're missing out on a good opportunity. But I know that some drivers like it, some drivers don't, and
yeah, it gets to be a long season for, some people. When you start in April, especially at the beginning of April, and you go till October, you're really looking at 5 months only off. So
yeah,
it helps everybody's pocketbooks, especially towards the end of the season. But it's always, like I said, it's always fun to get the itch and go racing somewhere.
Well, should we wrap this one up, Mason?
I was say, if unless you had any more questions, I think excited to see Scotty and his two cars both out on the track more regularly this summer. Are you going to be traveling any specific place, any special race occasions, or have you done your race occasion down in Arizona?
Yeah, I think it's probably pretty safe to say we did our race occasion in Arizona. We got some stuff going on this summer and stuff, so some extra stuff, and probably is not in the books for anything else, but who knows? We might look at the schedule later, and especially if we're not racing from weather or something, we'll look at going somewhere else, maybe, possibly. I don't know yet, but there's lots of places to race within 5 or 6 hours, so who knows?
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being our first guest on the Track Packers podcast. We'll be seeing you quite a bit throughout the summer, I'm sure, and be sure to give you some grief and some heckling.
Oh yeah. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Scotty. Hope the offseason
Scotty.
continues to go well.
Yeah, peace.
So yeah, if you're interested in getting interviewed or want to talk a little bit about your racing program, get a hold of one of us. We'll be sure to get you in on a Zoom call, and whatever you want to talk about, we'll be happy to give you a little platform to talk about your family or whatever you want to do with racing. And so thank you, Scotty, for being our little guinea pig for that segment as well. So we have a little bit of a Track Packer report. Did anyone check out the Watford City racing that took place a few weeks back with the Legends, Slingshots, and Go-Karts? I watched a little bit of it.
Yes, a little bit.
I wasn't able to watch it live. I know Darn TV was showcasing it live, but they had some internet issues, so they basically just streamed it on Facebook. It's available to watch, and so definitely check it out. I know it was a very unique setup with a smaller track for Legends, especially. Slingshots, I feel like it's kind of normal for them with some of the tracks they used to race at before they race at the bigger tracks at some of the tracks around the area. But any thoughts from the racing that you saw?
Well, from what I saw, the track size itself looks really good for the Slingshots. It looked like a very racy and competitive track for them. It's almost like the appropriate size, I think. As far as the Legends go, I think they started figuring it out towards the probably about the feature, middle to end of the feature, where people were really getting going there. After talking with Preston Martin, he said once he got his car set up right, he was having a lot of fun out there. He said it needs to be about 1.5 feet wider, the track does, and then you'd see about two lane racing there. But so I've heard a lot of good things from it.
Yeah, it was like the stuff I got to watch. It was definitely entertaining, especially Slingshots. I was really entertained with because they got to lap traffic multiple times, and it was fun to see which lines they choose because obviously, really like straightaways aren't that long, and so it's like once one person got out in front, it's like, oh well, they're going to check out. Well, if you didn't catch the car at the right time, then the second place guy would just catch right on back, and so that was definitely an entertaining race to watch for the Slingshots. And Legends took a little bit to get going. They had a few cautions at the beginning of their feature, but they settled in. I think it's just different, just something different that they're not quite used to, but it's always good to have something different as well.
I know indoor racing really hasn't taken off, or in the past, it hasn't had a strong track record of surviving past a year or maybe two. So I would really like to see this have just really good momentum moving forward. I'd like to see it again in the future, just because, it is something to do in the off season. It's a great use of a facility that probably would stay dormant during this time anyways. So I like this, especially for the go-karts and the Slingshots. I would imagine the folks behind the scenes, Brad Hardigan and his crew, probably have some ideas on how to improve it for next year. Ultimately, I thought it made for a very long day, just starting at 11 a.m. and then they went, well, the 8 o'clock at night. So I thought it was a very long day, especially if you were there to watch it in person. But it's racing in the off season, and I think that's what got people really excited in the first place. And it was overall was well attended. So would love to see this moving forward in the future.
Yeah, from what I heard through conversations, it sounds like it's going to be brought back again next year, potentially more than one race next year. So it might be two different races at two different points of the year. So if that's the case, that'll be fun. It'll really help the winter, what do you call it, seasonal depression. It'll put that at bay a bit, give everybody something to look forward to and be excited to watch. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and I kind of compare it to like being out in the Fargo area because obviously like go-kart racing is a little bit more prevalent over on this side, and they have like a couple indoor facilities near here. I think Crookston's one of the main ones that they go to in the off season in the winter months, and so it's nice to see like things like go-karts, slingshots, more of that stuff to get like kind of the younger generation, younger racers involved, venturing itself all across the state of North Dakota. And so I think it's good to get a little bit of winter off season going, get kids involved and kind of keep them active, excuse me, and keep them interested in racing as a whole. So kudos to everyone out there at the Bakken Shootout is what it was called, that put on a great show, and congratulations to the winners in the slingshots, Eli Turnbull and Dayton Olheiser in the legends, and they had a lot of go-kart classes, so won't quite go through all the results there.
I think they just need to pair it up a little more or put some parameters on what classes of karts they're going to have. But I mean, for their first year, I know they're trying to get people interested and excited. So yeah, something you live and learn by.
Absolutely. Don't know unless you try and see. And you can always improve. Usually they first improve the most from year 1 to year 2. So excited to see if it comes back next year. So that's our track back report before the season starts. And we want to give a shout out to our other sponsor, The Real Deal with B1, Brody Carlsrud, drives the IMCA stock car out of Glendon, Minnesota. Oh, Jessup.
No,
Got
I
something.
give him the number one.
Oh, you're giving him the number one.
Yeah,
Yes.
Real Deal, number one, B1.
Yeah. Be sure to check out his podcast. He's got a bunch of episodes out already. He's been interviewing a couple of people, including myself. And so definitely check out his podcast on Spotify and Apple, and also on his Facebook page. Definitely go and give him some support. He was on his way down to Beatrice to race this last week, and unfortunately the weather said no. And so definitely was a bummer for him. He was really excited to get his season started right away, but fortunately he's going to be waiting until April, as he cannot make the makeup dates for the Beatrice Spring Nationals. And so, but thank you so much, Brody, for supporting us on the podcast. We've had a lot of schedule happenings happen in the last few weeks, specifically out in the eastern part of North Dakota, getting those schedules out. And so anyone have any scheduling things that kind of have popped out recently or that we haven't talked about yet on this show? Because there's a lot happening this year in 2024.
I was kind of surprised to see Cheyenne Speedway come out with their schedule earlier this week, and they only had 5 racing dates. But I had to remind myself this Cheyenne is now being ran by the same folks who run the Red River Valley Speedway and Norman County Speedway. So those guys are going to have a jam-packed summer already with just 2 tracks. Now they're adding a 3rd track, which is awesome because that means Cheyenne Speedway is going to remain open, and we don't want to lose a racetrack. So I was a little surprised to see that they're only running 5 races, but it's better than closing the racetrack. So now Cheyenne Speedway will be primarily an IMCA track. They'll have a few WISSOTA classes here and there, but glad to see Cheyenne keep the doors open. So kudos to the big Bickers, the Bittners,
Yes.
and Jake and those guys. So yeah, glad to see Cheyenne still open.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun to see what they do with that facility. They do a good job over at Norman County and Red River Valley Speedway, and so people forget that not even 10 years ago, I think it was, that Red River Valley Speedway was closed for a little bit, And so that lay dormant, and the Vickers came and kind of took that over and kind of revitalized it too. So it didn't sit dormant for a longer period of time. And so definitely good to see someone stepping in, stepping up and taking that over. Obviously, it's a lot of work to run one racetrack, let alone 3 different facilities. And they're not all super, super close, but they're within the same area. So definitely hope they get some good volunteers to help out at the various racetracks to help them out and help alleviate that load a little bit. And so definitely excited to see what they're going to do with Cheyenne, especially since a lot of the IMCA classes and a lot of the drivers haven't even raced down at Cheyenne Speedway before. So that's going to be fun to see who all makes a trip down there, because it's not really a set like day of the week that they have races. It's kind of like a Thursday, a Monday, a Friday. So all different days of the week. And so might not have the same crew of drivers that show up on every single week. And so definitely, if you're a fan of racing in the area, check it out, because it's going to be jam-packed 5 nights of racing this summer. And so, yeah, that's one big thing that's kind of taking place. I'm kind of trying to fill out my schedule a little bit, waiting on one more schedule, waiting on Bemidji Speedway to put out their schedule, because I have a pretty good idea of what my first month is going to be like before the bulk of the summer starts to hit. And so just waiting on that last one to pop out. But otherwise, I think racing is going to be taking place mid-April as the way things are going. What's the weather been like over in the western side of the state?
Well,
It was super nice. Now it's cooling down again. There were some snow flurries earlier this morning. They didn't stick or anything, but and I just saw on my phone before we started podcasting that there could potentially be a winter storm next
week.
weekend. So
Yeah, I heard like towards the end of next week / through the end of next weekend, we're supposed to maybe get some snow.
Well, I know Jessa mentioned I think it was late January, we did our first episode of the year, that Harold was already out working on the track. And so has he been working out on the track in the last couple weeks?
we're already ready to go.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't speak for the board.
no, they're having a track cleanup day the first weekend in April. So that's when they'll be going out and changing the oil and all the equipment. John and I still need to go out there and set up the tower. So yeah, we're not ready for racing. Don't let Jessa fool you.
I could tell you out east, it's pretty similar. I mean, we got a little bit of snow flurries last night, and a little bit of it did stick, but it's pretty much all dry out here. We actually probably could use a little bit more moisture, because once May rolls around, if we don't get some rain, it'll be a little dry and a little bit it'll be tough on the tracks, I'm sure, and tough on the farmers especially too once they get going in the fields. So but yeah, I think
I did look at the extended forecast going into April, which we're still a month away from racing at the Dakota Speedway. Their first race will be April 19th and 20th for the Man-Dam Meltdown. But it looked like, for the most part, it'd be sunny, maybe cloudy on one day, but sunny on the other. But the high for that particular weekend and the following weekend as well, because that would be a makeup date or a rain date. Highs at like 60s and 50s. So it's not going to be overly warm, but that's kind of like going to the Stampede. So I guess we'll just have to dress up extra warm those weekends if we race. I mean, it could still be just a little bit too chilly, depending on whether the park turns on the water or there's a lot of things behind the scenes. It's not just that we can just show up and race. I know if it's still too cold, the park board might not want to turn the water on at the facility, because if it gets to be below a certain temperature in the dead of night, it could burst pipes or whatever. So we're still kind of at the mercy of a few other people, groups and organizations before we can officially open. But fingers crossed. But it's not going to be overly warm if we can race that first weekend in April, which would be the 19th and the 20th for the Man-Dam Meltdown.
Well, it's definitely if it's Stampede weather, people will show up, especially for the first race of the year. Once May rolls around, it'll be like, yeah, nah. But if you checked out our Facebook page, we actually shared a post this last week showing all the car shows that are going to be taking place. There's a couple more that have popped up over the last couple weeks, and a couple more that got solidified. And so definitely, if you're a racer, first get your race cars done, so that way you can enter them in the car show. If you listen to our interview with Scotty Gartner, he's looking for some competition for that IMCA modified title because I think he's going for, was it 5 in a row, Jessup?
It sounds like it. 5.
5 in a row.
5.
So if you want a chance at getting that title away from Scotty Gartner, be sure to enter your IMCA modified in the Dakota Speedway Car Show, which is the first weekend in April, the 4th through the 7th. So definitely put that on the calendar. River Cities has theirs on the 6th of April at the Home of Economy. Following weekend, Brown County Speedway has a mall show down there. And Nodak Speedway has their Magic City Car and Trade show on the 20th and 21st. That's just a few of them that are taking place in the month of April. So you still got a couple of weeks to kind of get your cars all set to go. And we're still waiting on a lot of drivers to reveal their paint schemes, but maybe we won't find out until some of these shows as well. Any favorites stick out up to this point so far?
I haven't seen too many, to be honest.
Let me look at our
I
group
actually
chat.
shared one today. I kind
Corey
of saw
Krasper.
that Corey Krasper released his late model paint scheme, and that's really sharp. I actually really liked his.
I like Devin Fouquet's that we shared about a week or two ago. Mostly a white paint scheme, but it has some hints of blue, black, and then it has a really nice metallic, sparkly number big 15. So I really liked his.
And your favorite color is purple, right?
It's actually blue, but I am partial to purples and pinks and
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's nice. Corey Krapser is nice. Has he raced a late model before this year, or is this his first time?
No, he'll be rookie in the late model division.
That'd be nice. It'll be interesting to see where all he races. Obviously, they got Red Cedar Speedway over there in Menominee, but otherwise, be interesting to see if he goes on the Challenge Series or if he races over at Ogilvy, which is racing late models weekly. And I think Granite City is also racing late models on a weekly basis, and so could be a few tracks that you could see the 07 at. I haven't seen too many paint schemes revealed yet. I've been kind of trying to keep a database, but people are still pretty quiet right now and still trying to finalize their wraps. And so Def will be revealing a few of our favorites. If you want to check out one of our episodes from last year, we tried our hand out at paint schemes, and I just want to point out that I was the winner of the fan favorite paint scheme.
Of course, because everyone knows who you are.
I was gonna say, everybody knows you more than us.
Yeah.
I don't know if I wonder if I've even put names next to the paint schemes.
Trust me, Mason. We all knew which car
I'm pretty sure you did.
We all knew which one was Mason's.
We shared them on the podcast, so anyone that watched or listened to the podcast could easily go on and vote for their favorite, which was yours.
Well, I raged it when I posted on Facebook that it wasn't obvious on whose was posted first. It's kind of like those posts that you see on Twitter. It's just like for this and retweet for this. Let's see who wins, because obviously you're gonna like it more than you repost it or retweet it. It's I don't get why pages do that, but hey, it was a good time. I haven't even played that game. I haven't even made a new paint scheme from this last year, so definitely might have to do that again. So, but yeah, any other news notes that you want to put down for the real deal section?
I do like the outline. I haven't seen it in person yet, like a picture of it yet for paint schemes. I'm gonna go back to paint schemes here really quick. Jordan Keenaus is going to be very interesting, I think, this year from down in the South Dakota area.
Yes,
because it is blue and orange. It's basically a primary orange, and Jordan's not usually primary orange. So I'm kind of very excited to see what his looks like, because it looks really nice as a draft of the model that they sent out to him.
Yeah, I think that was done by Buzz Signs and Graphics.
I think it might have been. I think Jacob Kane might have done it. Yep.
Yeah, because they do the mail orders, and so they send them out, and then they put them on in their shops, and it's oh, I wonder what it's going to look like on the car. And so I saw that one too, and that's gonna be a fun one to look at too.
Yeah, I think that one will be kind of nice looking. Go ahead.
I saw a sneak peek of Johnny Carell's wrap for this year. I don't know if it was completely done on Snapchat, but Mason, I think you saw it too, because I asked if you happened to see Justin Erickson's Snapchat. But it's going to be a primarily white car, as Johnny typically does, especially these last few years. But it's going to be a fluorescent yellow as his accent color, and I thought that was really different for Johnny Carell. So I think I'll be excited to see the finished car when that either hits a mall show or the track. So,
and John, you'd probably remember this. Didn't Johnny Carell have yellow in maybe some of his street stock? paint schemes?
No, Johnny used to be yellow fully in his mod days.
Okay.
Back when he was Soda mod, he was
But this is
fully
gonna be
yellow.
this will
Yep,
be like
he
a
used to be.
fluorescent yellow. So this will be, I get, in my opinion, different for Johnny Carell.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he used to be full on yellow. Number back in the day was kind of like he used to have the 5. In his later years was the red. It used to be basically a red 5 on his car. There had been several years that he had also put the spoiler as red on the car too. But and then he changed to black for a couple years from like his number perspective, a little bit on there as well. But yeah, he went after he got the new car from the Arnesons. I want to say I don't remember what year that was directly, but he won the Governor's Cup the first night out in it, over in Mandan. He went to white and he's kind of been white ever since.
Nice. Yeah. So it's going to be fun to see his car out on the track, especially really, really good to see that he's still very highly competitive at his age. I don't even know how many years he's been racing. It's been quite a few. We'll just put it that way. Quite a few.
The safe way to put it.
Very safe way to put it. So as we go through our white flag and wind down the show, like I said, be sure to keep in tabs on the Facebook page for content on our CNCs, which we post on my Patreon page, and also we'll post snippets on the Facebook page as well. If you have any suggestions that you want us to talk about, even before the racing season starts, definitely let us know, as we always enjoy the feedback and talking about whatever you like about racing. Obviously, we're big into NASCAR right now because that's been a very hot topic these days. And so we definitely like to have fun and definitely like to talk racing, whatever sanctioning it is or whatever form of racing it is. And so definitely open to suggestions here on the Track Packers podcast. I assume we're all gearing up for the first race of the season, which will probably be over at Dakota Speedway or Devil's Lake, which will be opening up, I believe, on the 13th, as they're getting planned to do. And so those are the first couple races in the state of North Dakota. Any other big plans before the racing season starts for any of you?
John and I need to meet up because we need to go and purchase some new audio equipment. So we were gonna do it this past weekend, but John decided to go bowling instead. It's okay. I should have reminded John about our little date that we had planned, but we're gonna do that in the next couple days. And yeah, the audio equipment at both Jamestown Speedway and Dakota Speedway are kind of on their last legs. So it's definitely much needed before the racing season starts. So we need to go out and get that audio equipment purchase. I think Jessup still had to do some stuff with the camera equipment. So like race car drivers waiting until the last moment to get those final adjustments on their race cars. Here we are, the announcing and camera crew are waiting to the last possible moments to purchase our stuff and get ready for the racing season. So we better crack down and get that done, guys, before racing season is actually here.
Yeah, we're gonna get together here this week and make sure we get everything like kind of finalized slash get everything in order on what we need and kind of go from there, because we have a list already from year end, but now it needs to be put into motion to make sure, hey, this is what we want and this is what we need to get and get all those things purchased before the season starts. So for me, Mason, I've already kind of did it from the intro a little bit. I'm traveling quite a bit up here in the next couple of weeks for personal trips here for bowling tournament related stuff on a national level. So I'll be doing that here in the next couple of probably in the next 5 to 6 weeks. I'll be pretty busy from a travel perspective. And then obviously racing season starts into full mode here pretty quick too. So that'll be kind of what I'm planning for and getting ready for as well here before we hit the ground running with announcing duties and attending races here as a fan when I'm not in the tower in the booth.
Yeah, it's a good reminder for me too, because I actually need to get recertified for my drone license. Yeah, I actually got to stay up on that stuff if you operate a drone. People probably don't know that, but yeah, I got to do that before I fly my drone, especially since I work for a drone operations company. So if something were to happen, that probably wouldn't look very good for me. So got to get studying on that before the season starts. Is there a last question I got for you guys? Is there any big racing event during the summer that you're really looking forward to, whether it's kind of a yearly thing for you or something that brand new that you haven't done yet?
Well, I mean, late models at Dakota Speedway is a pretty big deal. So, or at least for us, it's a really big deal. So I'm looking forward to that. And World of Outlaws are always a big deal. And this year, Donnie looks like he's running in really good form. So that should be exciting. Hopefully, by the time they get out here and when we get to go, he'll still be running in the top 1, 2, 3 of points. And, that's really about all I'm looking forward to besides the normal stuff that I go watch. Couple races out east would be fun too. But speaking of big races, Mason, did you see the B-Mod special being held down in where was it? Oklahoma?
Oklahoma, yep.
Arrowhead Speedway. It's 30,000 to win, and I think the payback for the top 5 looked pretty solid too. But they're inviting WISSOTA guys, which I think personally for me, I find it hard to believe that a lot of WISSOTA guys will go down there, mainly because it's during invitational season. But I mean, it's a 15-hour drive for us from Bismarck to get down there. So about 14 probably everywhere else. But I don't know. It should be entertaining to see what happens. The MWM SmackDown title is going to be put up on the line, I guess you could say.
They're calling it the B-Mod Bedlam.
Bedlam it will be.
Yeah, so that's going to attract a lot of drivers, and it's open to pretty much if you race a B-Mod in any sanction, UMP, USRA, IMCA, WISSOTA, they are letting anyone come in and run that, and so that should be a good mix to see how people do around there. That's got Lucas Rodin's name written all over it. It's going down there,
right?
I can see him doing that. Yeah,
I could definitely see him doing it. I think he's planning to go to that big Dairyland Showdown that's taking place Memorial Day weekend, I think.
Is that the mod one down at Mississippi with Barry's crew? Yeah, that'd be a fun show to go see.
Yeah, I think he's already registered for that, and so that's definitely a couple big races as well. I got decisions to make. I want to know, like, for the late models, Rotovala late model swing, because they're going to Fergus Falls, Grand Forks, and Norman County, because I usually go to the one in Fergus Falls. I'm like, do I go to both Fergus Falls and Norman County? Because I feel like I should be there for the first one at Norman County.
I'm going to Norman County.
Well, hey, we could have a track packer party that Saturday.
John, you want to join?
I've actually truly thought about going to Norman County during that time frame as well. So we'll just we'll play by ear as weather gets a little closer.
John, we should leave Mason at home so it doesn't rain.
This is true. Well, but it is pretty close to his house still, so I'm like, that might still not be out of the woods.
I could go somewhere else. There's like 10 other places racing on that Saturday.
That's not on Saturday. That's on a Friday or Thursday.
Norman County's race is on a Saturday for the World of Outlaws.
Oh.
So it's a little bit different. Like I said, there's plenty of other race tracks to go to on a Saturday because everyone wants to race on a Saturday. Frustrating. Anyways, I think that'll do it for episode 3 of season 3 for the Track Packers podcast. As always, be sure to like, share, and comment your thoughts, whatever you want us to talk about. We always love the feedback. Spotify, Google, and Apple is where you can find us in the podcasting form. And thank you to our sponsors, Hitch Harness, Tyler Hall, The Real Deal B1, Brody Carlsrud, and Isaac Hot Sauce Sondrol. Racing's just about a month away, so hopefully you get your cars ready, and we'll see you all out there packing the track.